In a home where you make an old-fashioned exactly how you want it. I'm Mike, the at-home bartender, and I'm here to show you how.
The old-fashioned, a gentleman's drink. And it truly is old-fashioned. It was invented in 1800. I wonder how old it really is if they thought that was old. I'm Mike, the at-home bartender. Now let's make one for you. The old-fashioned is a craft drink, meaning it takes a little bit of time to make it. There are several modifications that have been made throughout the years that the old-fashioned has been made with, but this is how I think the old-fashioned should be made. We're going to use an orange peel, we're going to use maraschino cherry, we're going to use bitters, and we're going to also use bourbon. This can be made with any bourbon or any whiskey. This is served also in a tumbler. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take an orange and I'm going to slice a little piece of the peel off. So I just use a knife to cut a little square, if you will, off there and get a piece of the orange rind. Make sure you give it a good little squeeze. Get those oils released there. And then I like to put some of the oils on the rim so that you get some of that flavor when you go to drink it. Next I will do is I'm going to add a maraschino cherry. And then I'm going to add some simple syrup. Some recipes call for a sugar cube. Some will call for a teaspoon of sugar, a dash of sugar. The simple syrup actually I find works well because you have to add water if you put a sugar cube in there. So I just put a little splash of the simple syrup, which is available at the local grocery store, and then I take a muddler. And that's just anything that you can just move things around and get it stirred up. I do a little bit of the muddling of the cherry, of the orange rind that's in there. And then what I'll do is I'm going to take some bitters. This is an aromatic bitters. I'm going to put about 3 dashes of the bitters in here. Now the bitters is truly a bitter type of alcoholic thing. It's usually about 90 proof. And what that does is that kind of balances the sweetness that's in there. So I'm just going to do a little bit more of the muddling and get a nice blend of the flavors. Now for the bourbon. The bourbon, some recipes call for 1.25 ounces, 1.5 ounces. My preference is to do 2.5 ounces. The jigger holds about 1.25 ounces. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and get 1.25 ounces. I'm going to place that in there, and then I'm just going to go ahead and do 1 ounce. Now that we have it set up like this, the key thing is to put some ice in there. I've got my ice stored right here. I'm just going to splash some ice in there. And another key aspect of the old-fashioned is that you want to let it set for about a minute. So I'm going to take a little swizzle stick here. I'm going to stir it around, and this is going to set for just about a minute. And that way the flavors have an opportunity to combine and the temperature gets to drop and you have a wonderfully cool but manly drink. So that, my friend, is the old-fashioned. And it was invented in about 1800. They actually thought that drinks were getting too sweet. They were using lots of fruits and other things such as absinthe in drinks in the late 18th century, sorry about that, 18th century, so they wanted to have a man's drink. So they called it an old-fashioned because it just basically had bourbon in it with a couple of other additives. And so that just makes you wonder how old it truly is. But it is a wonderfully enjoyable drink. Enjoy, and I'm Mike, the at-home bartender. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel right down here. And I appreciate it. Have a great day.